So my name is Lady Farron. It's Lady_Farron on Instagram. And I also go by DJ Dark Starlight. And this is my very first event at Subculture, which used to be Easygoing Gallery. They've recently changed their name, and it's my very first event promoting or DJing at all. So I'm really excited. It came to be because I missed the goth scene in Denver. So I was in Denver for 10 years, and they had a huge goth scene there. There were about 600 core people, maybe 1,000, 1,200, 2,000, of other people that dropped in periodically. And it was very much a community. So we even had a charity called GOTH Help Us. We had a radio station, Sanctuary Radio. It was such a massive scene there. And I've actually graduated from high school in Pensacola and went to college here. So when I came back here, I was just kind of, we have a very healthy punk scene, even a museum. And in fact, I knew Maggot Sandwich back in the day, but that's a whole nother story. And we have a very healthy metal scene here. Tons of metal bands, but I just had a hard time finding a good goth scene. So there's no regular event. I'm hoping that this will go regular at least once a month, if not twice a month. And I also noticed that what events were kind of goth-like here weren't really playing the danceable music that I was used to in Denver. So I just kind of said, you know what, I miss goth people. I want to be goth. I want to get other people into doing goth events so that I can go to an event and relax. I don't want to be the only person doing goth, but I wanted to present to people here what I thought would be a great club night, and I opened it to families as well. So it's an expression of trying to build a community rather than just trying to make money on an event. My goal is, the baby bats are all out. There's been a huge resurgence since Wednesday came out as a streaming series. And a group of us went to Dracula last weekend, and props to Dracula Ballet. It was fantastic. Loved it. And one of the little girls dressed like Wednesday, and everybody was gothed out. It was just fun. So I'm looking to try and bring the goth community together. So I'm learning a lot too, but I know what people love to dance to. And there's a hodgepodge of different stuff happening I went through the band list at Wave Goth Treffen, and I was like, whoa, wait a minute. It was a lot of emo influence. I'm basically doing industrial. I'd say 80% of my list is industrial, 10 to 15% is pretty much dark wave, new wave, and 5% of it is you got to shock people. If you're gothic, you have to shock people a little bit. So I threw in a handful of songs that aren't goth at all, but are just very danceable, just to see how people would react to it, whether they'd go, oh, that was actually pretty cool, or if they'd be like, boo, because you never know. But there's a lot of Faderhead on the list. There's a lot of Icon of Coil. I threw in some new bands. There's one called Dance My Darling I'm very fond of. Blue Tangle, which is kind of in that same kind of genre, which is more dark wave as opposed to industrial. Lords of Acid, Dragula by Rob Zombie, I threw that in. VNV Nation. I moved some stuff around. Let's see. There's an obscure band called Girls Are Waiting to Meet You from Japan, and they do a song called Zombie Girl that I absolutely love. So I threw it in there, not expecting anybody to know it, but I learned about goth music myself in Denver by going to the clubs and listening to other DJs' lists. So this is just highly danceable. I want to see blood on the dance floor, not sweat. I want to see blood. A lot of German bands. This is Deutsch. You're going to hear Die Brot. There's just Santa Hates You. I mean, there's a lot. Primarily, I want people to come and enjoy themselves and have a good time and have enough people come so that a second event is feasible. You know, I'm looking, I gotta have some numbers, otherwise it's not gonna go. So I wanna see people dancing, I wanna see people come in with their kids, I wanna see mothers dancing with their daughters, fathers with their, sons, whatever, trying to figure it out. I posted a video on Brianni Faith, does a lot of industrial dance videos, so I posted that for people so that if they wanted to check out industrial dancing. I want to commend this venue, Subculture, for helping so many people get started because they're an affordable place to hold an event, depending on what night you're here. But it at least gets you in a place where you can test your event and find out if there's enough interest for you to actually invest a lot of money into it. So, I mean, they're a blessing for so many people that do so many different things. So I'd like to see new people come in and explore Subculture. They've just started doing beer and wine, so the club is changing here. And I also have vendors. JM, come stick your head in here real quick. Come on. So this lady was my first vendor. She doesn't holler a lot, but she's written 2 horror books, and she's got a table set up tonight. So I'm trying to help people too, in the same way that Subculture views things, that a lot of different styles, a lot of different people can come together and enjoy different types of music and events and things of that nature. Long term, gosh, I've thought of so many things. So I'm working on a Gothnic picnic in the park, Halloween weekend. Bring your leftovers from Halloween parties over the weekend, have a potluck, discuss what the community would like to see. I can see goth camping, like all deciding to go camping together out in the woods and mix a little bit of, if people want to do a Wicca practice or something like that. I wouldn't be offended by anybody who had spiritual longings to be out in the woods and maybe have a hold hands thing. I see people taking trips to Denver eventually. I mean, long term, I'd go on ahead and set it up so that people from here could visit the scene in Denver, which I think would be awesome and excellent. I'd like to see goth movie night. I mean, there's horror movies all the time. Why not all of us get together as a group at like Mellow Mushroom or something and then go see a great movie at AMC Theaters, or just have 3 movies up for grabs and whoever wants to go to that one can go to that one. I'm really like wide open to what people want to suggest. So I even brought a little suggestion thing with pad and pen, and people can write whatever they want to me while the show's going on. I hope it branches. I hope it blossoms and branches out like a tree, where if somebody wants to help me with events and they learn how to do them, I want a few events to go to where I can just relax and just not, be all over the event, trying to work the event and work the whole event. I like to go sometimes and just chill. We used to, in Denver, there was this huge park called Chessman Park. Some people call it Cheeseman, but it's Chessman Park. And the history of that is very interesting. So when Denver was growing, they had a mining cave-in, and it was like a few thousand people, and they were paupers' graves. So basically, this park was built on top of a graveyard. And not everybody knows that who visits the park, but there are pictures of it at the turn of the century, because when they turned it into a park, they tried to remove all the bodies, and there had been another cave-in, and they were out of coffins for the full-grown men, so they were taking child's coffins, and they were chopping up skeletons and putting them in there to rebury them. And there are pictures of horrified Victorian women with their baby buggies going. And it's a historical fact of Cheeseman Park. So, I mean, I could talk to my one contact at a very small graveyard off of Creighton Road. And I had originally called him to do weeding and cleaning tombstones, and we're goth, you know, we do weird stuff like that. And see if he might be amenable to either starting a little ghost story business, you know, for that small little cemetery, or if he'd allow picnics there. You know, sometimes it can be hard. What I'm trying to do is really not easy, because there is a big difference between someone approaching someone in jeans and a metal t-shirt, you know, it might say whatever band on it, and me dressed like this going, hey, do you want to let a lot of people that are dressed this wild to do this? Is that okay with you? So it's an interesting thing to pursue. I expect it's going to be a hard road, but tough. COVID is way over with. You don't have to sit at your house and, you know, watch goth shows and dance in your room alone. You know, reach out. Don't be afraid to reach out to us or myself. You know, come to an event. I try to be super nice to everybody who comes, you know, and greet them and, you know, acknowledge everybody who comes through the door. Sometimes it's impossible, but just if you don't have a goth friend, come make one. That's what I would say. And if you have a goth family, I would like to price events with a family rate, like a cap. I'm trying to make everything affordable. This event tonight is, if you're 21 or over, it's $7. If you're under 21, it's $8. You know, and if I have somebody bringing 4 kids, like, you know, that's hard to go to a movie. That's $100. So I want to also plan events that have no fee, you know, that are just getting together. It could be coffee at $50 iGuy, and then go thrift shopping, because I have got crazy stuff on out of this thrift store, antique auction, because this is actually beaver skin 1863, Amazon, thrift store. So I can teach people how to put a goth outfit together with not too much money. And I can teach makeup, and I welcome anybody who wants to teach a class. I also am a fantastic tarot reader. I've been doing it off and on since I was 5. That's a long, long time. I mean, I just do them like a blackjack dealer. That's how fast I am at that. So anybody who has ideas, they want to do something, they don't know how, I want to write. We have a writer here that can help tonight. You know, I want to do, you know, performance art, goth. I even thought of adult events. So I am talking a lot to Risque Davis, which is a adult shop. We're considering doing a fetish event, which would have to be 18 and over or 21 and over, depending on the nature. I'm also looking for anybody who may want to just do something with their taxes and invest in something that's going to fail to begin with, so that they have a write-off, and maybe build something with a few angel investors, and perhaps, you know, who knows where that'll go. It might be kind of cool to buy a venue or something like that, or build a venue eventually. I'm just saying, you start small, And you just got to press on, press on, press on. And that's how it goes. But I'm very grateful to be here tonight. I mean, you guys have been fabulous. Seeing Pensacola, you guys have helped tremendously. Subculture has. I'd like to mention Phantasm and Mike Ensley and his group. They've also taken my flyers. I've talked to any number of people in Walmart, TJ Maxx, Joann's, in the Halloween departments. That's how I got my word out. I just did guerrilla warfare, word of mouth. I would show up, see anybody who was shopping there and go, here's a flyer. So, yeah, I have a lot of gumption. When we went and saw Dracula, they rolled out 3 stage props, which were life-size coffins for the 3 brides of Dracula. Is there anybody out there that can make me one of those? I want one. And that's about it. So let's share our art, our creativity, our poetry, our writing, our desire to create music, whatever people want to do. I'm down for it. And, I think it's great to approach this as a family thing, like have people bring their kids. I just had one lady go, my daughter's 16, she's goth, she doesn't know any other goths. I'm goth, I'm the only other goth she knows. I'd like for her to have some goth friends. So parents, it's a good time, so come bring your kids. Well met, everyone. My name is Lady_Farron on Instagram. I'm going by DJ Dark Starlight, and I would like for you to support your scene.